Hi, this is John, Flat 6 Motorsports, and today we're upgrading the turbos on a 95B.2 Macan 2.9 liter V6 twin turbo. Let's get into it. Now, before we get into this particular build, I just wanted to mention the different power plants in the 95B.2 and 95B.3 Macan. There's the 3-liter single turbo and also the 2.9 liter twin turbo. The 2.9 liter twin turbo V6 shows up in the turbo model, the 95B.2 and the GTS. And then when Porsche went to the 95B.3, it just became the S and GTS that share that 2.9 liter V6 twin turbo. And these upgrades will work on all of those cars. So on this particular Macan, the big story here is the upgraded turbos. Now these are the pure turbos. The newer engine, the 2.9 and the 3 liter, the 95B.2 and .3s have the hot V setup, so it makes replacing the turbochargers quite a bit easier than the first gen or the 95B.1 Macans. So these are upgraded units. We've also paired it with the Dyno 200 cell high flow downpipes. And it does have a little bit of a custom exhaust setup with a couple resonators added to the AWE tuning track exhaust. And this car is also equipped with a Flat 6 Motorsports water meth kit, which is a snow performance-based kit with a couple custom things we do to make it all work with the Macan. And the dyno results are pretty impressive compared to a stock Macan. The Macan Turbo stock put down 365 wheel horsepower and 377 foot-pounds of torque. And with the pure turbos, the meth, and some of these parts, it put down 484.6 wheel horsepower, so let's call that 485 wheel horsepower, and about 468 foot-pounds of torque. So these are increases well over 100 horsepower. The peak up about 120 wheel horsepower, the max gain up about 132, and you're also getting close to about 100 foot-pounds of torque increase. Now this really represents the true potential of this platform without going too crazy. We want to instill quite a bit of the reliability. There's torque limitations to the PDK that we don't want to interrupt. So this is really the best power potential you'll get out of this platform with the 200 cell downpipes. Freeing that up will allow some more power, but we're roughly at about 580 crank horsepower for this car, so pretty close to that 600 horsepower mark, which is a lot of power for the Macan. So let's get into the car, take it for a spin, and see how it feels. Okay, so here we are in the upgraded turbo Macan Turbo, pushing about 580 horsepower at the crankshaft. With this exhaust setup, actually with the double resonators, it's pretty comfortable just cruising. Just using the 200 cell downpipes creates a little bit of a raspy noise, but this helps cancel it out. So I'm sure the customer will be happy with that. Well, let's just drop down to sport mode, hit a turn here and kind of stretch its legs, feel how it does with these turbos. Traction off too. Yeah, definitely a lot more pull. Wow. Yeah, really at the higher end of the RPM band, it really pulls. And that's something that in the Macan, in general, even when you tune them, you get a lot of nice mid-range torque and increase in that kind of initial response. This is pretty responsive, maybe a little bit laggier than the stock turbos, but up top it really pulls, and that addresses really a weak spot in the Macan. So for somebody who really likes that revving it out behavior of the car, this turbo setup really delivers that because it pulls you back. I don't think I've actually ever felt that in a Macan as far as how much puts you back in your seat at the higher RPMs. Let's kind of continue on this little fun trip, and yeah, definitely, yeah, that pulls really nice. It definitely likes to live up in the higher RPMs. It really pulls nice. Yeah, she's properly quick. This is close to a 600 horsepower Macan, so it scoots. I would say where I noticed it the most is really getting on the highway in the third into fourth gear, full red line. this car pulls really strong, pretty similar to some of the 911s. So it's got a lot of power up top. It really addresses that weak spot. The Macan's really kind of like a quick 0 to 60 car. It gets out of the hole really well. And it has that nice, mid-range that you can kind of punch it, and your daily commute feels fun, but it kind of falls off up top, particularly at high speeds, like over 60, the 60 to 130. It just doesn't do as well there, and it doesn't feel as inspiring up high at the higher RPMs. But this car really addresses that with the power and how it delivers the power up top. It becomes very much a 60 to 130 type car. It rewards you for stretching it out because it makes its most power up top, and that's very different from pretty much every Macan we've ever tuned in the past. So that's something, if you're a person who wants that power up high, this definitely delivers that. I think it would be an interesting upgrade for somebody who wants to have one of the fastest Macans out there. All right, here we are about to just merge onto a highway, so let's feel it out in a third gear pull. Yeah, that's really where this Macan shines, is kind of the higher speed, the higher RPMs. It really delivers a lot of power, and it just makes the car, dynamically different, which is kind of fun. It just addresses some of the weak spots of the Macan, kind of shifts the power curve up high. Incredible power. I mean, Macans aren't the lightest things in the world, but they're also not the heaviest things. So 580 horsepower is a very good number in this car. Definitely makes for a unique crossover experience. The way this kit is actually pretty simple, how it comes together, and the mesh system in the back actually allows for the spare tire to still exist. You can flip that up and still get to everything underneath there, so that's a really nice plus. If you're interested in modifications for your Macan, we have a host of solutions, from simple things like some accessories, some intakes, all the way to upgraded turbo packages for the Macan 95B.1, .2, and .3. So we have a turbo kit essentially for every motor. We haven't released one yet for the 2-liter 4-cylinder, but we plan to do that soon. This on the 2.9, definitely the fastest Macan I've ever driven. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.